Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to The Deal. I'm Danny Brown. Today's episode is sponsored by The Optimist at The Platform. It's the best in fashion and lifestyle clothes, handpicked from boutiques across the globe. Really cool at The Platform in Culver City. There's a ton of places to eat and shop there. They're doing events. They're doing Oktoberfest there this weekend, but every weekend, and there's always cool events. It's good for the family. It's good for the adults. Great for lunch, great for dinner, and The Optimist, amazing. Tell them that I sent you and get 20% off. Tell them Danny Brown sent you. Today's guest is quite possibly the biggest, most successful mortgage broker in the history of mankind. It's Mark Cohen, founder of Cohen Financial. He's done more loans than anybody. And today we're going to get into the world of loans and the landscape we're in and talk about his career arc and his story. So enjoy it. School is in session. Mark Cohen, welcome to The Deal. How are you?
I'm doing fine, Danny. How are you? Thank you for having me on. I look forward to it.
I'm fired up to have you on. I think you may be the most prolific mortgage broker in the history of mankind. Is that accurate?
Well, if you say so, hold on.
I say so.
Can you hear me? Wait, hold on.
Fine.
Okay, I can hear you. If you say so, it is. But I wish it was. I just, work with them the best I can. That's all you can do in life. So
yeah, well, you're being modest. You've done as much. Let's say you've done as much as any mortgage broker in the business ever. So I want to get into a lot of different things and go in a lot of different directions and talk about the real estate market, mortgage market. But for those of you that don't know who you are, you have this long storied career as a mortgage broker in LA and Beverly Hills. I want to dig a little to the beginning of before real estate. Why don't you kind of give us a little breakdown of where you grew up? Did you grew up West Coast, I believe? But
I went to Beverly Hills. Went to Beverly High. Graduated ever so long ago, 1977. Went to SC. Graduated one. Lifetime Trojan fan, like you wouldn't believe, and still painful from last Saturday, but yeah. I'm getting used to it. MBA and law degree, Loyola and USC, and started in the mortgage business in 86, 87. I'd gone to law school for grandparents' reasons. Yeah, you got to be a good attorney.
Being a lawyer,
good professional,
so you never practiced
lawyer,
law?
doctor.
You went to law school?
Never practiced law. I never wanted to get into it. My mom was the first female mortgage broker, and she had a very good situation going because she was basically a pioneer. So it was just the mortgage business at that point in time. It was just very in its initial stages, very unsophisticated, and just a few banks around and so forth. So it started building traction, and I was hooked after a month. So I saw the possibilities in there. And
so let me stop you right there. So was your first job? It wasn't in law, clearly, and it wasn't.
No.
You didn't go to find. You went right into the mortgage business. That was your first career.
Yeah.
And your mother is Gloria, right?
Right. Yes.
So just a little side note for those who don't know. So Gloria was one of the first. It may be the first, a pioneer in the mortgage business. I don't know when she started, but one of the first women to really become a power broker in the mortgage business. And so was your first job working on her team, so to speak?
Yeah, it was very small. It was just like 4 people. And I was just, learning, and I saw, because my family's always been involved with real estate. So, I had knowledge of what was going on, but it was just a brand new situation for me. And, first couple deals I did, real small deals. In those days, the conforming loan amounts were $108,000. So this goes back ever so. So what can you buy now for $100,000? Literally nothing. But so it was very much in its initial stage. So just fax machines, no computers. It was very technologically not where we're at today.
Would you guys have lunch at Chasen's? Is that where you go? Chasen's,
Scandinavia. Oh, Scandia. We were at
Scandia.
We were at Wilshire and Beverly Drive. So lunch used to be. What was there? God, Gil Fornio. Ships is on. Ships is on. You get La Cienega. You got Western Boulevard. Ships is good for the toast.
Yeah,
used to make the toast there.
Great toast. I think the story is my
Ship burger.
my grandparents, both sides, were at ships waiting for the call when I was being born at Cedars of Lebanon, waiting for the call that I was born. They were at ships having toast, I'm sure.
Toast. So, yeah, the toast. The
let me ask
toast.
you something. So this is the mid-'80s when you, or early
Yeah, it started
80s?
86. 86.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you recall what the interest rates were approximately?
I sure do. The rates were, I mean, in those days, it was basically 30-year fixed rates were about 10.5%, 11%. And I bought my first house in 87, 88 after I got married. And I thought I stole the loan for like 9.5% for 5 years.
Single digits.
Single digits. That was a big accomplishment or coup in those days. It must have been a real big shot. Haha. Anyway, but
So
that was
double digits. So 10% was about approximately loan rates.
It's about the rates then. Yeah.
And did they go up higher from there, or were they already?
No,
going
at
down?
that point in time, though, the inflation fears were starting to abate, and you had I think Volcker was he had already, because in the early 80s, I think it's like 1981, 82, and the prime rate hit like 21, 22. That was
right.
the top of the market. And it was continually going down. But, rates were 7 to 8s for years. I mean,
yes.
into years.
What was that? Do you remember what the cost of average house in the Beverly Hills Flats were in the 80s? $1 million?
Yeah, I do. Depending on where, what block number, but $1.5 million or so. $1.3 million, $1.5 million, $1.7 million.
Yeah, so that house now is probably $8 million, $10 million.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Yeah. Believe me, I know. I know by personal experience.
Yeah. So there you go. So in the 80s, you start building your business, and that was it. You've never turned back. You've been in the mortgage. I think you're saying you've been in the mortgage business since then. You haven't tried different things.
No, I love the business. It's been very good to me. I've met a lot of people, good friends, something new every day. Entrepreneurial, and I have control over my deals. With the relationships I have, and it's a great it's been a great career, and I wouldn't change it for one bit.
Do you have any idea about how many loans you've done in your career?
Well, I'd say probably about 35 or 40,000.
35 or 40,000 loans.
Yeah,
that's a good amount. You make a few deals here and there.
I'm gonna show you something here for the crowd here. I'm gonna show you something. You guys see? This is my office here. The
beautiful views.
Great views, but here this is the floors and
look at those files.
Yeah. So this is here. This is my files, desk, computer. So
oh my God,
I'm
Mark,
very actively involved in the deals.
Have you heard of this new technology? It's called the internet.
Oh, well, we use it heavily, but
you don't need paper. Have you heard of?
I'm a man, and I need to visually see things. So
you haven't heard you can save those files digitally?
We do. No, we're pretty technologically savvy. Everything's on digital, but I just put files coming into clients. I have to see it.
I love it. I know because I've been in your office many times. Though sometimes you can't see the floor with those files. You're always standing up at your desk, and that's getting some exercise. You're standing up now. So tell me, when did you start your own branch, your Cohen Financial? Was that pretty soon? Early on?
No, I started in 1999 or 2000.
Okay, so you're already well off in your career.
Yeah, I worked with my family for a year, and I love my mom dearly. But it's just time for a change. At that time I was 40 years old or whatever. It's just time for a little change, and nothing that was wrong. It's just family and
time to branch out, do your own thing.
Yeah.
So what did it look like? What did Cohen Financial look like? Was it just you and an assistant?
It was myself and three people, three underwriter, just other clerical people that are still with me, believe it or not.
Wow, long term. That tells a lot about.
Yeah, so still with me, and I moved. I was in the where was I? In the building, the Heckman building at Wilshire, and the first building on going west on West Lynbrook.
That's funny. I'm in a deal with Heckman right now. One of there's many.
Lucky you.
Lucky me. I am lucky. Very lucky.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
All right,
For you.
so tell me the evolution now versus then. What does your operation look like now, 20 years later, 21 years later?
Yeah. Well, it's much bigger. I have about 15 people, 3 or 4 people who generate loans for us. But obviously with technology, we are pretty, you have to be very technologically savvy. And also with the advent of what's going on in the market, quality control, having a person who handles appraisals. So everybody's got their function here. It's to do the kind of volume that, we'd like to do here. You have to have a structure that works. So,
Yeah. All right. So look, everyone gets the point. If you're in real estate, if people know of you, you have a very big career. You also have a family. You also have a life. You have hobbies. So how do you keep it all together? I ask people this all the time. This question of balance or trying to keep things in balance. How do you do that? And what does your typical day look like in terms of
sure.
starting your day early or finishing late? And I mean, I've had calls from you really late at night.
Definitely. Who is this guy? this solicitation. I'm at my office at 7 every morning, and it's you can say, well, you've been for so long. Why? I mean, obviously it's been nice financially, but it's a passion. It's something new every day. To me, it's like the closest thing to being on Wall Street, because I have the CNN, my big screen going on, and watching the bond market and so forth. So I'm here at 7. I'm just, I do a lot of business with a bank in New York, a very good friend of mine who's helped me out tremendously, and we do a lot of business together. So I'm talking to them, 6:37 or late at night this time, and just working through the files, because these deals, why we've done okay is because you have to be actively involved and have relationships with people at the banks. If you go to, let's just use a bank, Wells Fargo, and there's some very good people who work there, but once they give the file off to the processor, that's it. I work the files. Yeah, they're done, and that's it. And they have little or no say. So here, with the banks I do work with, and I'm not 100%, I'm far from it, but at least I have the input, and I can do things that others can't. And I limit who I do business with to like 4 or 5 banks, because when you give somebody a lot of business, that means a lot.
Yeah, that's interesting. So you have 4 or 5 go-to banks,
yeah,
a lot of business, and you fit that most of those 4 or 5 banks can pretty much handle.
Yeah, and I've got other ones that I use secondary. Yeah, I've got to. Look, you've got to be diverse and do everything to be successful in this business. You can't say, well, I only do purchase or refinance. It doesn't work that way. And also, one thing I found out, which has helped me a lot, is everybody I want to do the $5 million deal or $2 million deal or $1 million deal. I've done so many conforming loans for $200,000 for people.
Yeah.
And those pay off. You never know. And one, they're easy and they're lucrative or whatever. But you never have too big of an ego to say, I don't do deals like that. You never do that. And I learned that from my from business, from my family. It's like nobody should have inflated egos. Well, I only do this and that. That's not the right way to be in life or in business.
The ego. Yeah. We talk about that a lot, and that's
no ego, no ego coming financially.
Yeah.
No.
Well, look, being at the top of the game in any field and being a leader of what you do, and then acting with no ego, that should be a good lesson for all of us, especially in this game where everyone's chasing the shiny big deal and the Instagram mansion, and we all want the big deal. But look, bread and butter deals are what make us over time, and certainly you're a testament to that, doing deals at all price points, and we all have to be open and leave our egos at the door. So starting at 7, I know you work late hours, but where I want to dig into is how about pre-showing up the office? Do you have a workout routine? Do you have a wellness, a mindfulness? So what does that look like? Is that before work? Is it after work?
I leave the office like about 7:15. And fortunately, Equinox is literally across the street. So you'd be surprised in an hour, and I don't, I know people there, but I really work out. So, for 45 minutes to an hour, you get a good workout.
You're doing it at nights?
Yeah, I go after the, I can't. It's 7:00. My mind's already on business. So I don't go.
Do you have a pre-office routine for whatever, stretching, meditating, thinking, reading, anything before the office?
I get like 5:45. Watch CNBC, what's going on, and stretching a little bit. I'm getting into that. I tore my ACL like 5 years ago. I've never been quite the same. No fun for you ball players. I'm the 5 minutes from my office, so I'm here at 7 and just getting ready for work. I get all my clothes out the night before, so I'm ready to go. And and always thinking. I go through my emails, and that's it. And I bring work home every night. So basically, what I'll do is gym like 7:15, home dinner 8:30, 9:15, 9:30. Depending. Like to have a social life once in a while. But at like 10 to 11, emails and just going through, things I have to do the following morning. That's it. And, weekends, like I'm a huge college football fan. So tomorrow, my days on Saturdays are college football days. So
that's your day. That's your day.
And I go run with my friends tomorrow morning, for example. We're going to do a 5-miler at 7, before that's the game 11, go to the gym. That's it. Go to dinner tomorrow night, friends, usual, same stuff everybody else does.
Well, I don't know.
Although I have a special treat, my son's getting married in Cabo at the Four Seasons in 2 weeks from tomorrow. So I'll be down. There for 4 days. So it'll be fun.
Amazing.
Enjoy life.
So that's the other part of the question with the balance, and clearly you are a classic grinder. You're in the office early, you're up early, you're there late. Reminds me a lot of my father-in-law. You've been doing it consistently at the highest level for so long. Clearly you have a passion for it, because I don't think in any industry or anything you can't work that at that high level and sustain unless you have a passion for it. Otherwise
100% you'll burn out.
Yeah, so 100%. It's a really interesting, but also what I'm hearing and what I'd love to dig into, and everyone seems to have, is you have an exercise routine. I imagine that's just a physical release. It's an emotional, psychological. It's everything. It's therapy physically and emotionally. It sounds like you take your Saturdays, a workout, and football is like your fun time. So your downtime, it sounds like it's those couple hours of working out, maybe watching football. The other part of this is, do you take vacations and try to tune out or break away and change your
I have the COVID thing. Yeah, I do. I've traveled.
I know COVID.
Shut everything down, that's shut things out. Part of that, I travel, every summer, 2-3 weeks. But I'll tell you a funny story in a second. But, to parts of the world that I've been to just about every continent. I've been lucky to go to Europe, Italy, my favorite place.
Love it.
10, 12 years in a row up to the last 3-4 years, and safaris. And we always take our kids.
So you do family trips. That's fun.
Yeah, we went on safaris in Africa. Always ski trips. So the last few years it's been less, but definitely gonna start picking that up. But you have to have a balance in life, like you said, because, I can stand here all day long and just, in the world, life passes you by. So you have to have the experiences of life, going to see things. And I can talk to, people about, most places in the world, and I can carry on a conversation. And I think that makes people much more well-balanced and more interested in others. And that's important, because how many times I talk to clients, and I deal with, like I said, a wide range of people. And if they say, here's an Italian client started talking to me the other day about, they're so impressed I knew, the Amalfi Coast so well. Yeah. So, and then you do, and not that got me the deal, but because, you come see my family, it's just when you're interesting, you have things to say to people, as you know, in life, there's just a bond. On things. So it's that type of thing.
So living your life, getting life experience, traveling, that's all.
Not as much.
I love it. So talk to me now about if you would have to break down like, hey, keys to your success. It sounds like clearly being passionate about what you do is one of them from what you've said. But what would you say are some other keys to success?
Well, true, absolutely the passion, but you have to be able to. And I'm not perfect, far from it. So I've made tons of mistakes over the years, but and the main thing is with people is you got to communicate with people, and it's easy to say, well, I'll just let it go, and maybe it won't happen, but you have to communicate, be honest with people, and those are the rules of success in life and business: communication and being truthful, and communication truthful, and being and also thinking ahead of not having to react to situations to forward anticipate what might or might not happen.
Yeah, totally. Couple other things as we shift and pivot now. Look, here we are, 2021, heading to the fourth quarter. We've been in this free money era, so to speak, quantitative easing, whatever you want to call it, the COVID era. What have you seen over this COVID period, and now that we're deep and hopefully coming out of it, what is your projections of the lending environment and the housing environment as we move forward in the next 12 months? What does that crystal ball behind you say?
It's really tough to say, and usually I have a pretty good feel for things, but you can see what Chairman Powell is saying is that inflation is higher than what they anticipated, and the inflation levels are high, and that's really what the interest rate markets focus on, is the cost of money. So if things cost more, people want more in return. So I'm sort of nervous about the interest rates here. It's been so easy rate wise for everybody. The rates have been trending downwards for years, and at some point in time, though, and I don't know if now is it, but it's approaching some point in time, though, where Fed's going to raise rates, and these higher rates are going to affect the market. That's the thing that is sort of worrying me a little bit, and I see it everything in the market and restaurants and everything. It's just and I think a lot of it are factors that are they may not be long lasting, in the sense that I watched the news the other night. Saw the LA port, the port in San Pedro and Long Beach.
Yes.
There are boats lined up for 3 weeks.
They can't get in.
Right, exactly. So that's supply and demand. So there's the demand. Yeah, supply chain issues, and that's why there's the inflation. It's an artificial inflation. So I think at some point in time, though, once you get the semiconductors, everything back at normal pace, that you can have more of a normal interest rate environment. Because right now, if it stays like this, the handwriting's on the wall. It's going to happen. And then the labor market, there's inflation now because for some reason, and I don't want to get into political things, a lot of people don't want to work, which I don't understand. But once that stops and people have to really work for a living, then
why work when the government pays you to stay at home and shop?
It was funny. I was walking the other night at the Scala right on Cannon Drive, and it was on Monday night, just picking up something to eat. And I said, "Why? It's weird. It's dark on Monday night. They're usually open on Mondays." There's a sign that said, "We'll close this Monday with labor shortages." So that's sort of a capstone of what's going on.
They can't they can't get employees to show up because they make too much money doing nothing, sitting home. Yeah, well, that's a whole nother podcast and another conversation. We'll save it for Saturday football game conversation.
Yeah, exactly.
So I don't know what you can share, but if you think about some fun, crazy, entertaining deals or situations that you've been a part of, or how about this? And what are some of the bigger deals you've done in your career? You've shared some of the smaller ones, and you have no ego about it. Are there some big deals, blockbuster deals that you can share?
The biggest one I've ever done. I've done several about the $18 to $20 million range, which is a lot of money, believe me.
Yeah.
But you see these sales that are mind-boggling. These billionaires, $100 million sales, 150. So
yes.
They don't need me. They don't need me for that. They just go to the bank. But yeah, I've done several deals. You know, $15, $20 million loan amounts.
Loan value was 15.
Yeah.
So
And
purchase price
several,
is double or so 30.
yeah, like double, like 25, 30. Yeah, I've done just a whole host of those. That's like what is nice. Done some very interesting people. I just closed a loan for this actually closed today. It was how can I say it? A diplomat from an African country.
Okay.
So
you get the no, I won't.
Yeah. It wasn't a huge deal, but it's just just the diplomatic community.
Yeah, it's fun.
And just getting stuff from some of these places is just we should be appreciative of what we have here, where things.
That guy's doing 130 in his Lambo down Rodeo Drive. He's got immunity.
Basically, you're right. Yeah. Basically, you're right.
So tell me, why are these $30 million buyers getting $15 million loans? Just because money's cheap and they rather keep the cash to invest in other things?
There's money's cheap, and a lot of these foreign and these another one actually I'm doing right now in Beverly Hills. It's from a Southeast Asian country, Islamic country, and they big industrialists, but all the money's in their country, and I'm getting a bank, I think, to do the deal. They're moving money to this bank, but they have a lot of money. But it's just they can't to get $20 or $30 million out of the country is tough. So 10 or 12 is tough as it is. So we'll see what happens.
Got it. So those are thresholds of how much money you can move out of a country before it becomes a problem.
There most definitely is. Yeah. So those are the more exciting deals. I have mainly bread and butter deals.
Yeah, well, look, once in a while you get some fun ones. So if you had somebody coming up in the business, a new mortgage broker, maybe they're starting their career, they've been in a couple of years in the business, what would be your advice to them? What sort of things should they be thinking about or doing? Knowing
your product very well, and having a routine that you're making calls or just trying to self-market and being and introducing yourself to people, being part of organizations, knowing the product, like I said, and just when you have a file to work on the file so you actually know how they work, because there's a lot of intricacies on every deal, as you know, in your deals with all the forms that you signed and so forth. So it's just knowing everything about the business and being involved and not having an 8 to 5 mentality. It doesn't work.
I think that's brilliant advice. Look, there's always nuances. There's so much to learn. When you stop learning, you die. In our business, there's always something new.
Yeah, I learn something new every day.
Yeah, me too.
And they're usually after I make a big mistake.
So if you're saying that and I'm saying that, I imagine if you're someone newer in the business, there's so much you could learn, and you got to know your stuff. Start with that. Study the game.
And that's what the game. And the possibilities in yours and my business is it's unlimited. I mean, look at all the transactions. I'm a speck on the radar, and so are you. I mean, and you're very successful, and I'm okay. But there's tons of opportunities. That's what keeps you going and me going. And just it's a very competitive, in a good way, spirit. It's like I'll tell you that you're a sports fan, and I'll this hit me a while ago. So it's 5 years ago, Alabama won their first national championship. So they said you go Tide. Anyway, so I must have roll Tide. So they asked Nick Saban, you won the championship. And they didn't seem overly happy. Congratulations. Yeah, that's great. We're going to savor the night tonight, and tomorrow we start for next year. And that stuck with me. And they had another sports analogy with Michael Jordan saying, "Hey, every day it's over. Next day it's 0-0." So my thing every day, every morning, and it works for me. It's 0-0. So, but old news, deals closed. Old news. It's the future in life. You can't change it.
Yeah, that's that Mamba mentality, that champions mentality. Whether it's sports, whether it's business, whether anything. Speaking of sports, behind me, that's your boy Dave Roberts right there.
Oh yeah, he's done a nice job. I'll personally say hi to him tonight for you.
Yes, tell him I say hi. Tell DR DV says hi. But hey, look, I'm sure you got 10 more blue files now across your floor during this 30-minute conversation. But I appreciate you being a mensch, sharing some knowledge. Always good to talk to you, and I'm sure we'll be talking soon on some crazy deal that's blowing up.
All right, guys. Have a great week.
Good to see you. Have a great week. Have fun at the Tiger Game.
All right, thanks, guys. Take care.